Hi, it's Martin, and welcome to another video on my Knit365 YouTube channel. Today's video is the something of April, and don't adjust your sets. It's a Tuesday when this video goes live, and I know I usually do Monday at 4, but it was Mark's birthday last week, and we've just come back from a weekend away. So we went to York, which was really lovely. We had a couple of nights away. We met up with some friends on Sunday. We had a big Sunday roast, a few birthday drinks. And yeah, it was very much needed and a nice little breakaway. It was really lovely to just get away and have a chilled out downtime weekend. It's currently Tuesday, as I said, and I've got the day off. Whoop, whoop. So it's coffee time. I've done some crafting already today. And yeah, I thought I would record a video on a Tuesday. And I know I'm going to break the algorithm because I'm going to post it on Tuesday. But I didn't get home until we got back about 3:30 yesterday afternoon, which was too late to then gather all the bits and record. And it was nearly a 5-hour drive. So it was a long way from Cardiff. So I thought, nope. I'm going to just have a quiet evening and then we'll record a video tomorrow and then it can go up on Tuesday night. So welcome to a Tuesday video in April. It is currently the 9th of April, I think, and it's mid-morning. I'm recording some bits. I have lots of whips to show you. I've got my book with my whip numbers declared. I also have some purchases, some wool, some not wool, and I have a finished object. Whoop, whoop. So there will be a sock dance coming up in this video, although I have just realized I don't have them here, so I'm going to need to go and get them in a moment, but we'll do that in a bit. So yeah, hope that you are all well, have all had a lovely couple of weeks. Thank you so much to everyone who liked, shared, commented on the Woolly Wormhead video. It was so lovely to sit down and chat to Woolly, and thank you to everyone, supporters of Woolly's who had knit some of their patterns before, and new folks that are going to buy the book and jump in and try. I really, really enjoyed it. And once I've got my Pride fundraiser out of the way now in June, I'm definitely going to make a hat or two for me for the winter. So yeah, thank you so much for all of your love and reception on that video. It was really great. You've got another couple of weeks if you want to be in with a chance of winning a copy of the book. Head back and watch last week's video, the interview with Woolly, and at the end of the video, I tell you how you can get involved and how you can win a copy. So I think that's all for parish notices. Let me have a slipperty. Slurperty? And as we know, when I say tea, I really mean coffee. It's a thing. I don't know why. Mark and I have done it for ages. I have a little bit of a cold. I have the end of a cold. I was ill just before we went away. Mark started to get ill yesterday. It's just a common head cold. I feel fine, but it's every now and then I need to sniff. So I do apologise, but I have my coffee. It'll all be fine. So in this week's video, I thought I would try and do a bit of a catch up on where we are whip-wise. I've decided I'm going to frog a project and more on that in next week's video. I want you guys to get involved and we'll start to show off some of my older whips, I think. So I'm going to get you folks to help me choose some projects and I'll show them off in future videos. But I've got a load of whips I've been working on quite a lot in the last few weeks. So I've got a few things to show you. So let's start a la the old monthly roundup where we declare the whips. Are you ready? Do you want to have a guess? How many whips have I got? That's right. Those of you that said 10 would be correct. I feel like that's a good number. I want to say I was in the 20s at some point, maybe the year before last. Like if I flick back through my book, 12, 14, 14, 16. When was 16? 16 was May 21. Yeah, see, so I feel like, 14, 15, yeah. So I feel like 10 is an acceptable number. I'm sorry for looking down. Yeah, I have my book. So what I usually do, for example, I usually list out the projects, then I list out my finished objects, and then things that are coming up, so I don't forget to talk to you folks. So I've kind of done a half page, which is why I'm not showing you today's page. It's not my best work, but I've done it. I got the book out and we've worked out how many we've got. So I've got 10 works in progress. I don't know what the oldest one is. They're in the order of Mark's jumper being number 1. I don't think that's the oldest. I think my Babette blanket might be the oldest one, but maybe Mark's is the oldest one. I'm not sure. But I've got a number of projects. And I've got did I start anything new last month? I did start something new last month. I started my Mary Annin doll. But I feel like 10 is, I'm okay with 10. I think that's an acceptable number. I'm very happy with that number. Looking down the list, there are a few things that are nearing being finished. So there's at least one will be finished this month. One may be finished, and I'm not planning on starting anything new unless I will start new things, but they're for my Pride collection. So they will be things that I make as part of my Pride giveaway that I talked about in the video before last. So I'll mention that again when I share some of my makes. But apart from that, I'm not really starting anything new, I don't think. Although I have just had a thought that Toft are doing another crochet along to make a bird for Easter. And I did buy wool to make Noah a dinosaur. We'll see. Right, let's stick with finished objects for a minute. So I have 10 works in progress. That doesn't include the one finished object that I've got. So I'm going to turn the camera off in a moment because I'm going to go and grab my finished object. Okay, I'm back. So my finished objects are... Finished objects? Yeah, objects. Object. Ta-da! I finished my blue socks. And I love them. So these are the Spiral Splash Socks by Stephen West of West Knits. And they have this wonderful slip stitch spiral that travels down the leg and into the foot. A simple garter stitch heel. And the really funky thing about the socks, if I hold the backs, it goes all the way to all the way around. But if I can show you, you can see that the spirals go in the opposite direction. So these ones go that way and these ones go that way. So they are socks for each foot. So you make obviously 2 socks, but it's a different pattern for each one, which is really cool and keeps a bit of interest because the way you slip the stitches is different on both of them. So it was a nice change. I made these using wool by Cool Woolens, the lovely Nick. And this was a turquoise colour semi-solid and then some hand-painted yarn that gives you the speckle. I didn't get gauge and I didn't swatch. If you watch when I cast these on, I started knitting. I usually knit a size 3 in Stephen's patterns, a size 3 sock for myself. And I didn't swatch, but after I did the cuff, I quickly realised that the sock was going to be way too big. And rather helpfully, each of the sizes, size 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., are 1 extra repeat. So I got about here, I think, and then I ripped it back to the cuff, decreased the stitches out. So I went down a sock size. So I usually would do a size 3. I'm a UK size 10 shoe, but this is the size 2 in the pattern. And yeah, so I have a finished object and I have some socks. I've not worn them yet, so they're not dirty socks. But I really, really am pleased with how they went. The first one flew off the needles as a pattern sock does. And then the second one, I got distracted with other projects. But I started these January, I think, because my plan, yes, I started them in January because I wanted to take it to Unravel to show Nick, who was exhibiting at the show, and I managed to finish one and I'd started the second. So it's taken me a couple of months, but not obviously a couple of months of solid knitting. They're actually quite a quick project when I got going. So I am really pleased with how these look. So if you stay tuned to the end of the video, we will do a sock dance. Yeah, I'll put them on and do a, yeah. So stay tuned. If we did it, Mark and I did it when we had some finished socks a few videos ago. And loads of you seem to love the sock dance. And I think I made Mark do a shawl dance. There seemed to be a finished object dance thing now. This basically seems to be a thing. So there will be a sock dance coming up later in the video. So I'm really happy with my finished object, and the wool is, I don't know what base, it is merino nylon, but I'm not sure what base Nick uses, where her bases come from, but it's so soft, like really soft, buttery soft. So I'll pop a link in the description box below to Nick's website and Instagram if you want to go and check it out. Nick has this speckled yarn in blue, but I think she also does a greeny version. I think there are others. It's part of her kind of range. So yeah, my Spiral Splash socks by Stephen West. Very happy. So let's talk about whips. Let's stick on the sock whip train for the moment. This one is quite a short update because I haven't done any knitting on it. But I will try to make some progress on this in the next week or so. So these are Mark socks. So this is another pattern by Stephen West. These are the painted honeycomb socks. And I showed these off a few videos ago. And I am knitting these in a colour fade yarn by Gemma of The Little Grey Girl. Gemma has a pink fade, and these are going to be pink fade socks for Mark. They live in this cute little rabbit themed pink bag. And I've got one more, I believe, no, two more of the second colour. So you can see out the colour change. Two more of the colour, and then I'm at the heel. So ideally I want to get the heel, down to the heel done in the next week or so. I'm not sure these are going to fit. I've said this in another video. So these are on a 2mm needle. And on the basis that I didn't get gauge on my sock, I should have gone down a needle size, I think, to make them tighter. And I usually do go down a needle size when I do a Stephen West pattern, but I didn't on this one. So I don't know why, on my blue socks. But on this one, I have gone down a needle size. So this is a 2. Stephen uses a 2.25 in the pattern. And they look really small. Now, Mark has incredibly small feet, if we compare the two. Look how much difference there is. Mark does have really small feet. He is a UK size 7. And he's got really skinny ankles and really skinny legs, the opposite of mine. So we're both convinced, he's tried it on, he can get it up and just about over his heel, but it is a bit snug. So I'm hoping to get to the heel, do the heel flap and the turn, and then he can try them on again when I've got more fabric. I've also got a sock blocker for his size. So what I might do is I will still finish the sock and then we'll give it a good block, and because it is quite stretchy with the honeycomb pattern. So we think they're going to be okay. Worst case scenario, then these will just be a sample knit for Gemma. This is a new colorway that she has released. So worst case scenario, I can just kind of gift this sock to Gem as a show sample to show off the new fade kits. Best case scenario is it fits with a little bit of stretching, and then I'll go on to the second sock for Mark. So we'll see. But I said about that in a previous video that I wanted to try and make some progress, and I haven't. I have got lots of other progress to show. But I'm going to try and get some of that done this week and at least get to the heel flap and the turn, and then maybe the gusset. We'll do the gusset increases, decreases. So my painted honeycomb socks are on my list. That is number 10 on my whip list. No, that is number 9 on my whip list. It's because I'm going to frog a project, so the list is now out of order. It's fine. We'll talk about that in a bit. So yeah, so that is my project that I'm going to spend some time on this week. And then the other sock project, I probably won't make some progress on this week, but a few of you asked in a previous video how I was getting on with these. So these are the... it's the braid socks by Stephen. Let me find, they're called the billowing braid socks. So let me just make sure I don't use stitch holders, needle stoppers. And I often end up dropping stitches. And some of you are like, this is why you need stitch stoppers, needle stoppers. So these are the billowing braid socks. They're hard to show off because they're on double points at the moment. Again, a pattern by Stephen West. And I'm knitting these as part of a knit along with my knitting group. Charlotte, Kate and Amanda are also knitting these socks. We have mixed success and mixed progress. People aren't particularly loving the socks and are easily distracted and doing other things. It's fine, they will get done. So they've got this wonderful cable technique that runs down the front of the sock and then onto the foot. And then it's got this really cute kind of rib effect on the back. So I've made some progress since you saw this last, because I think I was up to about here. I don't know if I'd got this far when you saw it last time. So I have done the all of the leg, and as you can see, again, Stephen likes a garter stitch heel, so I've done the heel and I've done the heel turn and I've picked up for the gusset stitches. So I'm now back into pattern, and as with all of Stephen's patterns, so I think it's all of his patterns, the design, effectively the motif of that sock only continues down the top of the foot, and then there'll be a plain bottom. So what I usually find is when I'm doing one of Stephen's patterns, I actually get quicker on the foot than I am on the leg, because you're only half patterning. The rest of it is just knitting straight around. So yeah, I really like how they are turning out. They are double knit, so they are slightly bigger than, they're going to be the same size pretty much. You can see the two heels there together. So they will be the same size as my other socks. They just are made with a double knit yarn, not a 4-ply yarn. In order to get gauge on this one though, Stephen uses a 3.25mm needle. Thought I dropped a stitch, haven't. Stephen uses a 3.25mm needle in the pattern, and in order to get gauge, I've had to use a 4mm. So they do knit quite quickly, but yeah, I've no idea what's going on with my funky gauge on this one. But yeah, I really like them. There's a little error I'm happy to share with you, with amongst friends. Where is the error? I missed a row of the pattern. Oh, maybe I can't see it. It's obviously not that noticeable. Oh yeah, here. You might be able to see there's a bit of an extra, we're missing a purl bump in this round. I just knit all the way around rather than doing the knits and purls. It's that subtle. It was only this far down and I was like, oh, shall I rip it back? I was like, oh, I don't know if I can be bothered. No one's going to get close enough to my ankles to notice and go, are you missing a purl bump there? So yeah, I'm not ripping that back. So I really like these. They're quite a quick knit. But with the other things I want to try and make progress on this week, I'm not going to make any commitments that we're going to get some work done on these. But I felt like if I did these ones over the pink ones, I probably could finish this sock. Oh, maybe that's what we'll do. I might work on this week now instead of the pink ones. You can see where my mind goes, which is why I have so many projects, because I'm like, oh, let's do this instead. Yeah, because I think with a bit of focus this week, I can finish the first sock, then cast the second one on. The only thing I'm worried about with this sock pattern is because I'm using bigger needles and I'm making a larger size. I think I'm making a size 4 in this one because of the sizing of the foot. So this is wool from Gemma again, of the Little Grey Girl. This is the Stansfield colourway, and I just love this vibrant blue. Because I was making socks, when I wound the yarn, I wound it into two 50-gram balls. And this is all I've got left of the first 50 grams. So I've still got my full 50-gram for sock number 2, but I've got to do all of the foot with that. So, yeah, I'm really bad at judging how much yarn I've got left. So some of you experienced knitters out there might be looking at this going, you got plenty of yarn, what are you worried about? But Stephen says that one skein is enough. But obviously I've had to go up quite a bit on my needle size. So we'll see. I have some of this somewhere in my stash. It'll be a different dye batch because I made a granny hexie cardigan 12 months ago for the East Anglia Festival, 12 months. And I used some of the Stansfield Blue double knit in that project. Where the offcut is, I don't know, but I will have some more of this blue. I said it'll just be a different dye lot, but it'll be on the foot. Worst case scenario, I'm going to run out on the toes. No one's going to notice if the blue is slightly different. So yeah, maybe I'll do that this week. I've got some other things that I want to do. So if you're watching this video live on Tuesday, I won't really get to this until Wednesday, I don't think. So feel free, leave me a comment. Blue sock or pink sock? Which one should I be working on next? And then I will try and make some progress in the next week. But I'm really pleased with those. They're such a fun knit. And my first time doing cable socks. I thought it was a good introduction because they're double knit. So it's not like I'm cabling with 4-ply, which is fiddly. We've done that on a Stephen Shaw before, and it's just a bit fiddly, isn't it? So yeah, I think one of those two will be my focus for the month. And then I started a new project, which I've talked to you about before. So this is the Mary Annin doll by Toft. So this is part of the Making Women Who Made History series. And that is Mary Annin, who is, or was, sorry, a paleontologist from Dorset in England. And she was famous for collecting ammonite. That was my iPad, bear with. The iPad's fine, and it would have been fine. It was just, I wanted it to show you some things. So, where did I get to? Mary Annin. Yeah, so she discovered the first ichthyosaur skeleton with her brother when she was just 12. So, very famous paleontologist from history. I have made some really good progress with my Mary Annin doll. That's one of my main focuses from the last week. So if I show you where I've got to, yeah, I think that's everything. So I've done the body and the head. I mean, she could be anyone at this point, couldn't she, in fairness? But I've done the body and the head. I've also done 2 arms. And I've sewn all my ends in as well. Look how good I am. So I've got 2 arms. I've also got 2 legs. So we have a near completed body. I just need to sew her up. And she's got these really cool shoes, which are called, they've got a name and I can never remember the name. Spats. So they've got these really cool shoes with these little bobbles on and this kind of I don't know what it is. Something on the bottom of the spad. But I finished these because a tip that I saw on Instagram once from someone else who makes dolls is to put the shoes on the doll and then stuff it, because the directions actually say to stuff the leg and then you put the shoes on. But because you've got a bulbous foot effectively, it's really hard to manipulate the shoe to go onto the leg. So these have been stuffed. They just need sewing on. So I've done all of the limbs. She's good to go. And I have also done all of her skirt. So her skirt has been finished. So she will be dressed appropriately. And then I've made a start on her apron that goes on the skirt. So she will then have this that sits over the top, and then we put some pockets on it to put her ammonites in. And I'm nearly finished then. She's then just got a bonnet, a shawl, hair obviously, and then just some embellishments on her shirt. So I'm going to try and finish her this week. This is going to be one of my focuses for the week, to try and get this done. My doll along is still running over on Instagram. If you are taking part, use the hashtag ToftDollCal all together, and I can find your posts, tag me in them. It's been amazing to see the progress so far. Some people are on their 3rd and 4th doll, which is really impressive and speedy. Some people have only just started. We've got until the end of April to finish and then be in with a chance of winning a Toft patch as a prize. So feel free, if you're still getting involved in the doll cal, tag me in your pictures on Instagram. But I'm hoping I'll have Mary finished this week. Mostly finished. Maybe I just need to finish her hair. The hair always takes a long time. It takes longer than you think. So we'll see. But Mary is also on my whip list. Mary is number 10 on the whip list. I should have said that, shouldn't I? So Mary's number 10 on my whip list. My braid socks are number 8. And Mark's pink socks are number 9. So they're my most recent works in progress. And then I guess some other things I've worked on this week. I've had a really busy week. I've got my spinning back out. So I haven't made a huge amount of progress. This is the second bumper fibre. This is by Almas of Witchcrafty Lady. It's a Polworth blend. And I did my 15 minutes of spinning every day in January. I did my Spinuary blog, and I was really pleased with the progress I made. I have been keeping in once a week, maybe twice a week. I've definitely not been doing 50 minutes a day, but I'm on the second bump of fibre now. I've wound the first lot off, and I'm going to try and ply these together at some point. So I'm quite happy. You can see there's a few thick bits where I've gone a week or so and I've not spun, and I've forgotten what to do with my hands and things. So it gets a little bit thick and thin where I restart, and then I get quite happy with how it looks. So I've got a few bumps of this left to go. So I'm going to try and do a bit more spinning. Ideally, maybe get back to my 15 minutes a day, but for the spinners of you out there, I'm still spinning away, albeit very slowly. So that's not on my whip list, because that's not knitting or crochet, that's spinning. That's a different list. Do you have a different spinning list? It's my list. I'm not putting that on the list, but I've got my spinning, so I'm going to try and do a little bit on that over the next week or so. I'll probably show you the spinning when I get to a stage. I'll go, right, I've got these little balls that I've plied now, that I've wound off. I'm now ready to ply them. So I'll show you when there's progress to share, as opposed to like now. It doesn't look any different to it did last time. And then this is the other whip that I've been working on, is an old favourite that I dragged out of hibernation. It hasn't been in hibernation long. It's been there since November time, I think, maybe early December. Amanda in our knitting group has just started a Stephen West shawl, and she's doing the winter hiber knit along shawl, and I felt a bit of shawl envy because I'd been doing a lot on socks and a lot on my Toft projects for my Pride fundraiser, which I'll show you in a moment. So I grabbed my MCAL. Now, those of you that have been here since last year will know that I was going to say foolishly, I over-optimistically thought I could knit 2 shawls at the same time. That was going to be my challenge for last year's MCAL. And I didn't, because of all the reasons. We restarted, and I was up to date. I was about to start my second shawl in week 1. Then we pivoted and all the rest of it. So I got behind with mine, basically. So when you saw it last, I'd finished week 1. So this is the Geo Gradient shawl, again, patterned by Stephen West. And I decided I was going to do a crochet start because I really loved it. So this wool is by Punk Rock Unicorn. And I've got the blue fade kit from PRU. And I also picked up this skein of mohair from them to add a bit of a fluff. So when you saw it last, it was basically here that I finished week 1. Seen Amanda's shawl last week. I then got a shawl envy. So I have done the first half of week 2 on my shawl. So this is where we take it from being a square and turn it into a diamond kind of shape. So it's got these lovely eyelet rolls and then this reverse stockinette. And then to continue the mohair fun, because I want to try and mix mine up a little bit, I've omitted my colour 3, which is this really lovely royal blue, in this section, and I've dropped the mohair in its place. And for me, I really love it. The mohair makes it a little bit more muted. I really love the mohair in there. And actually, this blue now looks more like an accent colour. So, yeah. I'm really happy that I managed to dust this off and, yeah, get it going. I am going to need to, I did a quick stitch count. I didn't count all the way through. I did a quick stitch count and I'm 5 stitches short, and I don't know how. I have enough stitches on this side, but I'm 5 stitches short on this side. Now the next side, the next time I use this side is a bind off, I believe. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to knit back or undo this row, this last row, and then between the stitch mark at the end, I'm just going to stick the 5 extra stitches in, just so that I then haven't got to think about, if I am doing the bind off, do I do less of a bind off? Will that affect the shape? It's only 5 stitches in the grand scheme of it, but it won't take me long. 10 minutes to undo it, 10 minutes to reknit it. I can do that. And I'll do it while it's fresh in my brain. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this project now, because I want to make some progress on some other things. I might try and do a little bit more on this. It is very therapeutic, section 2. So I might see about doing a bit more on this week. Week 3 then is the slip stitch section, and I really struggled with that on Mark's one because apparently I can't count to 4 and remember where I am. So there was a load of undoing. It's like, oh, I get to the end of the row. Oh, I don't have 4 stitches left. Take it back. So you've got to concentrate on it. So I'm going to keep checking in. It will be finished before this year's MCAL starts. I need to sew in some ends as well. I've not sewn in any ends yet, and I'm going to do that. So I might actually spend a bit of my time now on my day off. I might tink back that row, put those extra increases in just to get my stitch count correct. I really love Stephen's like no fuss approach. Like he's like, if you're missing a couple of stitches, just put some increases in. If you've got too many, a couple more decreases. Don't stress. Say yes, don't stress. So I might finish that and I might sew those ends in and then do a bit of admin on this. And then maybe I'll start the next section. Maybe that could be my day to day. I don't know. I'll see what mood I'm in later. Once I've done this, I've got to go food shopping. I need to exercise. I'm having a Zoom call with Gemma from The Little Grey Girl, just to catch up. We haven't spoken since East Anglia properly. So yeah, we'll see. I also want to start a new project. I know. So this is my MCAL. I'm very excited by it. And this is number 6 on my whip list. So this is my GeoGradient. Love it. So I'm really pleased. So thank you to Amanda for the shawl envy. I love a shawl project. When I get them going again, I'm like, I love a big project. I'm liking the socks at the moment. I'm on a bit of a sock kick, but I do really like a big project. And this is living in the Westnitz MCAL tote that came with the kits last year. Right, and then the final thing that I've been working on in the last week, I talked about this in the video before last, so I won't go into all the details again. You can hop back and hear a little bit more about it, and there'll be loads of videos on it coming up. I'm doing a big Pride fundraiser this June where I'm going to run a raffle, and I have loads of wool and some actual projects as well, donated by some amazing dyers and designers that I love to work with. And I'm going to make a number of items. I'm hoping to have 8 or 9 projects that you can then enter the raffle and be in with a chance of winning a project that I've made. So I'm starting, I've started my projects already. And I'm going to be making, as part of the prizes, 2 doogie rams from Toft. So this is the Edinburgh Yarn Festival exclusive colourway with these funky rainbow horns. Toft now have a pride ram, and you can choose which of the pride flag colours you would like. So there he is. And Kerry very kindly donated the yarn for the Pride fundraiser. So I'm making it. So Kerry and Toft have donated the yarn, and I'm making the items. So I'm making 2 pride sheep. Ta-da! We have a cream sheep and a charcoal sheep. And I've spent some time doing these in the last week as well. So I think when you saw it last time, I think I'd finished all of the making of all the limbs. They absolutely don't look like sheep yet, I appreciate. But I'd finished all of the limbs, and I've now stuffed and sewn them on. He looks like he's twisted. I love the way, because you crochet in a spiral, they do kind of twist. But I thought I'd sewn it on backwards then. No, it's fine. It's just the way it spirals. So I've made my 2 sheep. They have been finished and stuffed. They're nice and squishy, perfect for cuddling. So these are made with Toft Aran wool, and they're done on a 5mm crochet hook. And just for scale, this is done in their double knit on a 3mm. So you can see the difference in size between the standard form and the large form. So yeah, really looking forward to getting that finished. And bend his face down a little bit so it looks a bit more like the other one. So this week, I think I'm going to start fleecing. So the fleece is going to take a long time to do. Although this is quite a thick fleece on the double knit version, I'm going to do a lighter fleece because I think it makes them a bit more soft and fluffy in the larger version. And at the Stitches show a couple of weeks ago, when I saw Kerry and the team there, they had some large sheep on display, and I really loved, they looked quite playful and quite airy, because it will be fleeced all over the body, but absolutely not as dense as this, which gives it a little bit of a nicer feel, I think, in the large version. So now these are done, I can now just I can come home from work and I can think, oh, I can't really be bothered to follow a pattern, but I want to craft. I can just grab this, because there's no pattern to the fleecing. You just chain up some stitches, come back down into the fabric, chain up, come back down, and you always move away. It's very random. So now these are done, this is a great way to kind of spend a couple of hours of an evening doing the fleece. I have made the ears. but I'm not going to sew them on just yet. I'm going to get the horns done first, and then when I can see the size of the horns, I'll then work out where to put the ears and the horns so that they sit neatly together. But I have made all of the parts now, including their cute little tails. Again, I want to put that on so that I can fleece around the tail. So yeah, made some really good progress on these. And I've also started a cowl project, which I'll show off next week, with some yarn donated by James of James Makes Things, which is really cute. It is an amazing rainbowy colour, and I've started a cowl in it. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll show you that next week. So those aren't on my whip list because I feel like these aren't my projects. These are your projects, because hopefully you'll all want to support my raffle and be in with a chance of winning some of the things that I've made. And hopefully there'll be special items then. But I haven't got them on my whip list because they're more like work is how I'm thinking them in my head. The things I need to do for Knit365, they're not my personal projects. So they're not on my whip list, because they'll just get done at some point. That's my theory anyway. So that is, I think, all of my whips. So what I'm going to do next week, I think, why don't we do a bit of a deep dive into some of my other whips? There is one I'm going to frog and rip it back, and it's my flax sweater. I'll show that off in next week's video. I'm not sure what to do with the yarn. Part of me feels like destashing it and doing it on Instagram and just offering the yarn up to someone and almost giving people the choice, because I've pretty much knit an entire body. I've got about this much left to go on the body to do, and then the ribbon, and then the sleeves. I've got more than enough wool to finish the project, but the wool is very woolly. I think it's okay. Once it would soften even more when I wash it, but I've lost some weight, which is great, but that project's not going to fit me anymore because that jumper's going to be too big. It's also not my current taste. It's a bit more natural. So I've decided I don't want that project anymore. So I think I'm going to frog it, and I don't think I'd have a use for the yarn anymore. So I'm contemplating maybe destashing it, and then maybe offer it up as a destash as it is. And then someone's got to finish a nearly finished jumper, or you can then wind the wool back. We'll see. So I'm definitely going to destash that one, but maybe I'll turn the channel over to you folks. So you've seen projects today. You've seen number 7, 9, no. I need to check my book. You've seen projects 6, 8, 9, and 10. So 6, 8, 9, 10 is what you've seen. Why don't you leave me a comment below and put a number in from 1 to 10. I'll show you them off again if you want to see them. But maybe, 1 to 7, I haven't shown off in this video. So why don't you pick a number, and then the most common number that comes out, I'll grab that whip. So I'll show off the one I'm going to frog next week, and then get your thoughts on it. I do think I'm going to frog it, but I would appreciate any guidance that you folks have got. But also let me know what number projects you want to see, and I will dig those out of stash and we'll show them off. I don't think there's anything else on my list that I want to frog. There's one, maybe, it's a shawl, and I started it years and years ago. There is an error in it. At the time, I was like, no, I'm happy with that. It's part of my journey. I'm not sure. We'll see. But let me know what number between 1 and 7 you want to see next week, and I'll pop that in the next week's footage. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it. I have something to open, and I thought I'd do it live on camera. So this is my embroidery kit that I bought from, excuse the rustling, literally is a live unboxing, that I bought from the Stitches show. So I picked this up from CraftySmith. and it is the Oh Crab It's Monday cross stitch kit. They had a wonderful stall with all of the different cross stitch kits. Why is that so hard to say? Cross stitch kits. And the Oh Crab It's Monday was sold out. So what they were doing is then a free shipping for folks who purchased on the day. So I've never cross stitched ever. This is coming into the flat and it's going to go in my stash because this I feel like is going to be a summer project when it's too hot to knit. Optimistic for the UK, but I'm absolutely not starting this now. I've got to do all the price stuff's got to be finished before I do that. But we've got a really cute box and a sleeve. And on the sleeve it says what's inside. So we've got an embroidery hoop, Ada, I'm not sure what Ada is, backing felt. Oh, is Ada the actual cross stitch material? A guide on how to cross stitch, the pattern, colour with symbols, the threads, needle and a needle threader, and some pun postcards. You just need scissors and a cup of tea. I can do that. Find us on Instagram at CraftySmith UK. So if you like the look of this, feel free. Not a sponsor post, I just love it. Head over to, oh, it's really pretty. So really cutely packaged up. I'm almost now wondering, can I slide it all out without, no. Okay, let's open. Okay, so inside we've got a lovely little needle and threader. Thank you for supporting my small business. I've got my Oh Crab It's Monday postcard, which I can absolutely take to work and put it on my desk. And then I've got my threads with a number guide, which I'm guessing is going to correspond to the pattern. I've got my little tiny hoop. Oh, that's so cute. And then I've got my pattern, which I'm obviously not going to show you. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cute. And then it tells me when I'm crossing with strands and where I'm not. Right, excellent. And then I've got my how to cross stitch guide. This is really cute. Oh, amazing. Ah, the fabric used in cross stitch is called Ada. There we go. So yes, we've got this lovely guide about how to cross stitch, how to put the hoop in, how to begin a stitch, finish a stitch, how to back it. Okay, super comprehensive. And then, yeah, I've got my Ada and a piece of felt, which will go on the back. Oh, wow, this is just amazing. Now need to resist the urge to start. I'm not going to start. I'm absolutely going to be good. But I saw it and I wasn't in the market for any more yarn because, you know, stash. I've got a lot of yarn, but I really wanted to get something as a souvenir of the Stitch Festival. So I'm really pleased that I stumbled upon CraftySmith's stall. So please go and check them out. Puntastic Crafts. As I said, not a sponsored post, but I like to share and show off things on my channel that I like that hopefully you folks will like. So that's arrived in the post this week, but it's definitely going over that side into the stash. And then the other thing that's arrived this week is just 2 balls of lime yarn from Toft. So a bit of cotton. So this is their Aran yarn again. So the same weight as I'm doing the sheep in the lime colorway. And we have 3 nieces and a nephew. And our nephew, Noah, is... Noah and Thea, they're both 2 brothers, both born within 2 weeks. The baby's born 2 weeks within each other. So they're just over 2 now. And Noah is obsessed with dinosaurs. And you ask him what he wants on the telly and he goes, rah, because he wants to watch Jurassic Park, the kids version. There's a kids cartoon version. So I decided, just because I love them, Toft have got a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So this is Gregor, the Tyrannosaurus. And I picked up the yarn to make Noah a Gregor. And rather than do it as a double knit, again, because it's quicker on an Aran yarn, but also it's a bit more cuddly for a toddler, I'm going to make Noah a lime green Tyrannosaurus Rex. This kind of is my Monday, the rest of my Tuesday, sorry. I've got my day off, I can do my exercise, I can run my errands, and then I might make my dinosaur. And then he's done, he's out of the way. He can go to Noah. It's a frivolous gift just because I love the kids. And yeah, I might stick him in because I can get him done today, tomorrow. It won't take that long to do. It's only 2 balls of Aran. So we might have another finished object. See, this is where my head goes. I can give myself an excuse. Let's just do that. So I might start Gregor. Because otherwise, if I don't start him now, I'll do all the other projects and then it'll never get done. And it's topical at the moment because everything is dinosaurs. So I feel like that would be quite cute. So maybe I'll do Gregor this afternoon. We'll see. So I bought that wool. So there was a purchase. It wasn't from Stash, but there was a reason why I wanted it in Aran. And I don't have that much DK in my stash so I could hold double to make an Aran. The Toft wool is really good like that. If you hold 2 strands of double knit together, you get their Aran. If you hold 2 strands of their Aran together, you get a chunky, and so on and so forth. The yarn is, you can gross it up and get the same tension. But I don't have lots of Toft yarn, but I don't have enough in green to have made an Aran one. And I thought the Aran one was cute. I think that's what I'm going to do. You know that's what I'm going to do this afternoon now. So by the time you're watching this video, I'm probably hooking up a little dinosaur. Oh, he's got these cute little arms. Look how cute his little dino arms are. Yeah, I'm definitely right. That's my afternoon sorted. We've got loads of TV to watch. I'm going to do all my chores and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to crochet a dinosaur for Noah. Just because. So there we go. That is everything. I think that was a lot. And I know some of you had said you like the weekly format, but you also miss the monthly roundup. So if this was the first video that you've watched, hi, you're very welcome. I used to do a monthly video and I would start with how many whips, what I finished, what I've been working on, what were my plans for the month ahead. And then would often every 2 weeks then would intersperse it with a project video, or we go out and about, or we do something. But folks were asking for more videos, which is really lovely. So I've kind of switched to weekly. And actually, I think I'm knitting more because I'm having to do it weekly. I have to have things to show off. But I think a few people had commented that they missed the monthly format because they missed being able to see how many whips I had or what the longer term progress. So maybe we'll try and do that. We'll still stick with weekly, but maybe once a month we will still check in and we'll do a more detailed update like this one. So this is a bit of a longer video than some of the other weeklies. But it's actually been quite nice to check in, catch up, get the whip list out, do a bit of admin, a bit of housekeeping. Yeah, so I hope that you've enjoyed a slightly longer whip catch-up video thing. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to start to edit it together while I do my call with Gemma. And yeah, then maybe we'll have some lunch. I'll do some exercise. And then the rest of the day on the sofa, I think, enjoying a much deserved. That's cocky of me, isn't it? Yeah, I've worked really hard the last couple of weeks. I feel like I deserve a day off. And even though we've had a nice weekend away in York, it was still out eating, drinking, festivating with friends. So it was nice to spend an afternoon, I think, on the sofa, watching some telly. That's the plan. So thank you very much for being here. I'm going to leave you with a sock dance of my new socks. We'll continue with the theme of dances with finished objects. There's a fly, sorry. Maybe we'll get Noah to dance with his finished dino if I can get it finished. It's basically, it's amazing. Love him, he's so cute. So we will see what happens with Noah's dinosaur and lots of other things, and hopefully I'll get some fleece done on the sheep and they'll start to look like sheep, not strange, undescribed animals. So I love about the Toft, most animals follow the standard form. You get a bit of a different shaping on the head, but the body and the arms are the same. It's then how you customize them with hair and facial features and horns or spikes for dinosaurs or whatever it is. So it's kind of a really good example of what the standard form looks like. And then all of a sudden, because I put that there, and you know it's a sheep. So love it. So I'm going to try and check in on those and get that done. So I'm going to leave you with a sock dance. Thank you very much. I will be back next week with another catch-up video where I will let you know what I've been working on. Let me know which whips you want to see next week, and also let me know, should I be doing pink socks or blue socks? That would be very helpful. A bit of community support for some of my projects. So thank you very much. I'll leave it here and say, till we speak again, happy crafting. I'll leave you with the sock dance. See you next week.